I think Achilles is pretty mediocre. I think he's like S tier. So S tier is, I think they can win most ranked games and they're hardly ever going to be the problem. A tier is good in most ranked comps. B is, wait, actually, S can be built in any rank comp. You can play them whenever. A is most ranked comps. B is a couple rank comps. C is bad in most comps. D is never viable. And E is don't even think about picking this god. So yeah, Achilles plays best as like this kind of, I say it a lot, but I think it's like one of the best things right now. It's like this pseudo second jungler. He plays best diving. He plays best with a little bit of power. And I've been messing around with shifters, and I think shifters Achilles is going to be really good. I think you could go something like Warrior Tabby or Tank Boots into Sov, Talisman, Shifters, Sledge or something like that. Pridwin maybe, but just like one power item somewhere, one like hybrid item. I think Achilles could abuse it really well. So yeah, I think Achilles is pretty fine in most comps. He plays the early game well. So I think Ama's insane right now. I think she uses the and then starter just go Sentinels on Achilles. Just go Sentinels on Achilles. All right, S tier Ama. I think Ama builds both starters well. She builds Benevolence well. She builds Sentinels well, and she can build either Animosity or I think it's Sentinels Embrace. I can't remember the names exactly, but the one that gives you prots to your teammates around you. I think she builds both of them. If you want to be that pseudo second jungler, like I keep saying, if you want to be like that, just go the Animosity build. Know your early game is a bit weaker, but your late game is twice as strong. Sentinels is just really good because it allows you to burn objectives. Her early game laning phase is actually super strong too. Yeah, just however you want to play it. If you need to dive, Benevolence a little bit more. If you need to peel a little bit more, go Sentinels. Sentinels gives everyone extra prots. Yeah, so Sentinels embrace that one. Ares. I think Ares is pretty. I think he's A tier. I think you just go Sentinels on Ares. I don't think anything changes with Ares from last year. You just go Sov into Talisman or Sov into Genji's or something, and you just kind of run it down. You wait for your level 3 power spike in the 2v2, and you can win most 2v2s. Just know, everyone seems to think Ares is this beast early game god. He is, but not level 1, not level 2. Level 3 is his spike. He's a bad level 1, bad level 2 god. If he pairs with like an On Her or something like that, maybe he can be decent in early game. But level 3 is the Ares power spike you're looking for. That's when you want to have 2 points in your chain, and that's when you're going to be able to win any 2v2. For the most part. There's a couple you're probably going to lose. Yeah, he's really bad from behind too. I think Artio is pretty bad right now. She doesn't win a ton of 2v2s. The mana change helped a little bit. You just go Sentinels on her, I assume. She might use Benevolence, okay. But the problem is you're throwing your already early game. I mean, you're throwing a god's early game. Wait, what? I keep saying that weird. You want to win the early game on Artio, and if you go Benevolence, you're throwing away your early game. I think she uses Compassion, which is the other non-animosity starter for Benevolence. She uses that well. However, she can't really get away with it in the support. So you're just kind of... Yeah, basically. She's better in solo. Yeah, she's probably a lot better in solo, but she's not very good in support. PBM Artio. I mean, maybe he pulls it out, but in my opinion, I don't think she's very strong. I think Athena's really good right now. I think I played her, I think, of 1 or 2 games. And I just went Sentinels. I've liked Warflag. Oh. Warflag is just not good unless you're going for kills. Like, I almost want like a what's it called? So every time somebody talks about Warflag, because Warflag in itself, if it was like not needed to be a support item, Warflag is a good item, but the problem is you need a gold spooling item in support, otherwise you're gonna fall behind and you're too reliant on getting kills. So Warflag can feel good, yeah, if they added gold to it, if they gave it so it's like if you're actually stomping the lane. My opinion has always been give you a little extra gold on Warflag for getting kills. If you get an extra 30% gold for getting assists or kills on gods, I think Warflag has some viability at the top level. Right now, Warflag is a little bit of viability. TV thinks it's good, and I can see his point of view from this. He thinks it's good in these lower levels because it just allows you to kind of stomp the winning or the laning phase, and it can get you ahead with that. But I think you're just safer, and you're better off going Sentinels. How do you decide what boots to get? Does it depend on a playstyle situation? Playstyle, god, enemy gods. I think right now, the safest and most consistent boots is tank boots. Almost no matter what, it's never a bad idea. However, sometimes Travelers is going to be a little bit better. Sometimes Warrior Tabby, sometimes cooldown boots, sometimes lifesteal boots. Sometimes there's going to be a better boot option. But if you really don't know what to go, just go to the tank boots. Just go the tank boots. Could you do tier? I haven't played Tier. This is like the problem. Since Season 8 is still fairly new, I haven't played Tier and I haven't played against Tier. I think he's fine. I think you need to know how to play him. Yeah, I don't know Tier well enough. I would put him in B and say that...
Give me that.
If you're able to play up and like get bait a lot onto you and your team can follow up and you're able to maybe solo someone, get them low, I think Tier's good. I assume you would just build Sentinels. You don't really use Compassion or Animosity well at all. So I'd say Sentinels into Sentinels Embrace and then just try to like run around and do nothing. And Tierlist in the making. It's like all you can do is Smite. Like people just like talking and playing Smite in Season 8. Tier would be good aggro with War Flag. Yeah, I could see that. Allows him to get kills in the laning phase. Bacchus. Okay. So... Bacchus. I think Bacchus has 3 insane abilities. His jump, his burp, and his ult are all sick abilities.
Give me that.
However, he feels very, very underwhelming right now because his passive and his 1 are basically the same ability. Like if you look at every other god, Ares, he has 5 good things in his kit. He's got 4 good abilities and a good passive. Bacchus basically has 4 because his 1 and his passive are so linked together that he basically feels like he's down in ability. So I think Bacchus is fine, but he doesn't feel great to play. And his laning phase is also really weak right now. I think he's like C tier. I don't think he's great. I would just go Sentinels on him if you wanted to. Bellona. I think Bellona is pretty good right now. I think she really only has 1 play style, unlike Amma, who's got the 2 play styles. She only can build Animosity and dive. However, she does that very, very well, and she's impossible to 1v1, and Animosity allows her to be even harder to 1v1. Cabrakan actually felt pretty good the one game I played him. Like I said, I haven't played all these gods because I haven't had a ton of time. Season 8's new. I played Cabrakan with 1 game. Animosity, it's a support item. It's the one that gives you 4% of your max health as auto attack damage. I mean, as magical damage on auto attacks. Do you do Animosity starter or just the full item? I do T1 Benevolence, T1 Boots, 4 health pots, 1 multi-pot. So Cabrakan actually feels really good right now. His natural tankiness makes him really hard to fight and kill early. And the Sob Rush build that I think most supports are going to be running right now, he kind of abuses. He only has to worry about the enemy mage, and he has a pretty safe time against most mages. Scylla, who kind of locks down and kills mages, Cabrakan doesn't have a problem with because he's root immune on his 1. He's root immune on his 1. So Cabrakan really doesn't have to worry about that too much.
Give me that.
So I think he's actually A tier. He wins the laning phase also super hard, and
give me that.
He does fall off a bit late game, but not that hard that he's bad. Serb. I don't know. Serb, I feel like when I play Serb, I don't do that much, but when other people play Serb, he actually does a lot. So I don't know where I want to put him. I feel like he's not as good as these 4 characters. I feel like he is not as good as these ones, but he's probably in the same tier because same tier. He's not in the same tier with Tier. So I'm gonna say A tier. Also, I will say his passive is super strong into healers. He's a lot better into healing comps.
Give me that.
So if you have a healer on the enemy team and you want to have some sort of anti-heal that you don't have to build it, Serb is going to be good. His laning phase is fine. He's kind of got the same problem that Ares has, where his level 3 is where he's spiking. Because you want to point in every ability. If you have a point into your 1-2, you're not safe. If you have a point into your 1-3, you're not going to have a lot of damage. Point into your 2-1 or your 2-3, you're not going to have your stun. So you want to just get a point into every ability and then fight with Serb. And he has, yeah, that's a very good call, Barracuda. He's got a very, very, very atrocious cooldowns. I think every one of his abilities is at least 14 seconds, which is terrible. Cabrakan has a 10-second cooldown, 8-second cooldown, and then 14-second cooldown. Serb has 3 14-second cooldowns at least. I don't really want to talk too much about Chalk.
Give me that.
Cthulhu, also not really a
give me that.
Support. I don't really want to spend too much time talking on him because he has very low support viability. I guess if you're going to play him, Sentinels. Oh, these gods are both Sentinel gods too. These gods are both Sentinel gods too. And then just go into Sentinels Embrace. I'd probably just go Sentinels into Tank Boots, Sov, Onis, and then just try to get as tanky as you can as possible. You just put him in solo so he can get farm and get ahead. This is one of the gods that you need to get ahead to do something. If you're behind, you're just going to get shredded in your ult. I haven't played a Kukulin game, so I don't want to rate him. I'm going to put Kukulin in E tier. Erlang. Oh my goodness. Speaking of animosity abusers, Erlang. He uses probably him and Amma and probably Bellona are the 3 best animosity abusers. He's also got a ton of CC in his kit. If you just go beads, blink on him, he is a tank that can get a lot of abilities burned onto him, and he can also solo anyone. Just go the same build that you do with Bellona and Amma, the T1 Boots, Benevolence, T1, 4 health pots, 1 multi-pot. And if you feel like you actually have a chance to die in lane, just start beads. You don't have to start blink. Just play for level 17 and you will win the game. This god does way too much damage with benevolence. Just get to the late game and you win. Level 17, buy animosity, have some health items, some attack speed items, and you'll win. Love Erlang. Yeah, Erlang is so good. No Thebes to split? No. Thebes, I wasn't a big fan of Thebes last split, and now I think this year kind of pushes it out even more. I think Thebes gets even worse. It's still a safe item to build if you don't really know what to build, but I think you're better off just going Sov into a magical defensive item. Faf, I feel like Faf has always just been a good god. What's the reason for rushing Sov? Physical protections are just super strong, and HP 5 is super strong. You're starting for 2100 gold, you're getting, I think it's 60 physical prots, maybe 55, I can't remember. Health and HP 5 for you and your teammates. My boy Ganesha in S tier. Oh, you're in for a treat, Gillis. Oh, you're in for a treat. Oh yeah, I gotta talk about Fafnir. Just started to go more towards talisman than shoguns. I'm not big on shoguns. I think health items are just what you need. So right now, just go like cooldown boots or tank boots into...
Give me that.
Or lifesteal boots, because Fafnir uses power really well. Go one of those 3 boots into Sov and then into Talisman of Energy, and that's your build on Fafnir. Yeah, and just go Sentinels on him, and then make sure you have a mantle or something like that, and then build Sentinel's Embrace. Ganesh. Geb. Guan. No, just kidding. I do not think Ganesh is very good right now. But he's probably not that bad. Both of these gods are probably C tier. Their early games are so bad right now, but they do use Sentinel's Embrace very, very well. Both of these gods. The problem is getting to the late game. Yeah, he does, but his kit is still just too weak. I've always been at the opinion that Ganesh is just not that good. I won one single get game today and I won, so I think you're wrong. Fair. I just think both of these gods are so weak early that you can't get away with them. I think if you can get to the late game, you can be full build and you can get like your Sentinels. I think they're both very strong. The problem is getting there. In these ranked games, these early queues, I don't think I would ever pick Ganesh, and I don't think I would ever pick Ganeb. I would ever pick Geb. Because of how unbalanced the games are, they're won in the first 10 minutes. There's no reason to be playing these gods when games are surrendered at 10 or won at 15, 20. Just stay away from these gods until, yeah, Ganeb. Just stay away from these gods until the queues kind of like settle down a little bit, and then we can take a look at them again. But I think for now, they're pretty weak. Dio Barando, thank you for the follow. Guan, I haven't played a Guan game yet, but I assume he's good. They buffed his 3, that he does so much damage in the laning phase, and his ult does so much damage. Even though they nerfed healing, Guan's healing is an in-combat healing. He's not healing out of combat to full heal you. He can do that, but that's not the reason you play Guan. Look at his passive. He's looking to heal you and then using another ability. So his in-combat healing is not affected by the global anti-heal buff across the map. So yeah, I still think Guan is super strong, and I would just build Sentinels. Sentinels on Guan. Yeah, he's not affected by anti-heal. Hades. Wait, what? Is Hades a guardian? Okay. A few assassins. I think there's just 3 assassins I was throwing in here, and I can just talk about them when it's their turn.
Give me that.
If you just remind me. But I think most of them are not viable. Yeah, I don't know why Hades is here. Hades is terrible in support. Herc. I think Herc has also kind of gotten a lot of non-love. Herc, his 3 is good in combat, but he also wants to use it out of combat for healing. So Herc is now unable to heal outside of combat that fast. He has to use like 4 more of his 3s to heal a lot. I don't like War Flag. We don't like War Flag. So Herc's in a strange spot now where you wouldn't think anti-heal out of combat affected him, but it does. And he also doesn't do too much damage now either because of how much they nerfed his power. He used to get like 15 power at level 2 or 3, and now he gets, I think it's like 8 or something like that. So, I mean, you can play Herc. If you get ahead, you're going to be able to flag, but put in your title. Dude, people love War Flag. I mean, I see why. If like you don't understand how much gold you're losing because you're splitting, but it's so bad. Horus, I've not gotten to play a Horus game yet. I'd assume he's up here. His kit's super strong. The shred, like prots are in pretty low. Like you're not getting a ton of prots on your carries right now, so you're gonna be able to frag with Horus. He's also really safe. His laning phase is good. His ult is sick. More in comp. It's fun, but you lose so much gold. Exactly. But if you can get ahead, you can get a lot of kills. It's not terrible. I'm just, for the most part, as an overarching view on War Flag, we say it's bad, okay? If anybody asks if you like War Flag or if you think it's good, it's bad. Can it be good? Yes. But overarching, it's not good. So I'm here to learn. I play support on other games, so I want to know more about playing support. I got you, Enduran. I got you. In my opinion, it's always been, if you just get extra gold for kills with War Flag, I think the item would be viable. And probably actually even good. Might be good to buy at full level 17, but you're still going to be falling behind in support. If you build it in like solo or something, not bad. Jorm, not a support. Terrible. Khepri. I think Khepri's probably the second best or third best Guardian support. I think Khepri's S tier. I think if you want to play a Guardian support and abuse Sentinels, Khepri and Yemoja are the two to go. His kit is just too strong. He just does too many things. He's got engage. He's got peel. He's got setup. He's got an ult that revives your team. Everything, range CC, everything you want out of support, bar really great engage, Khepri has. He also lanes well. So when you think about it, what is the downside of Khepri? No great engage. He's got good engage, no great engage. And then he's got no CC immune ult. Those are the two downsides to Khepri. Those are the only two downsides to Khepri. If you can just not be punished because of those two, Khepri's always going to be a great pick. So if your team has like 4 backline gods and you need an engage god, Khepri's probably not going to be the best pick. Most games, Khepri's going to be great. Most of his PC CC is... His peel is not single target because his 2, if he hits both the enemy and his teammate, he's buffing his teammate and debuffing the enemy. His CC is single target, but his peel is not really. And I guess, yeah, that's fair too. Executes also are pretty good at Khepri, obviously. Arthur, we're not going to talk about Arthur either. Oh, boy.
Give me that.
All right. Kumbha. I love talking about...
Give me that.
I hate Ganesh. He's one of the few gods in the game that I really just don't like. Kumbha is terrible. He is terrible in Conquest. I don't know why. He wins non-Conquest game modes. I was talking to Wraith about this. He says he wins a lot of other game modes, not in Conquest. And he's good in other ones. But he is so bad in Conquest. It is unbearable. Please, please do not pick Kumbha. Any other Guardian, I would take Jorm. I would take Cuchulainn, or Cthulhu, I mean. Please not Kumbha. He is so bad. I don't even want to talk about his build because I genuinely think Kumbha needs a lot of love for his kit to even be viable. That is the one thing, Nathan, that even then, there's better like counters to Kali. Kumbha does play really well into Kali. That's one of the few ones, but Kumbha is terrible. Kumbha gets his own tier. The fucking Kumbha tier is Blink Sutter. I think that he's fun to just like screw with it. Like if you're friends with someone and you snipe and play Kumbha, like he can be fun. I used to do that. It's fun. It's funny. You get into somebody's game, you see your friend on the enemy team, you pick Kumbha and you just ult someone off cooldown. It's fun. Why is Kumbha bad? His entire kit is just very underwhelming. His 1 is easy to block. It does decent damage, but it's single target. His 2, a route that is the easiest thing in the game to like dodge. Like if you get hit by this 2, it means you're dead no matter who was there. His 3, his 1 okay ability. It is a big CC, but it's a mez, so it's not even a great CC. And then his ult, a 1-man ult that does 250 damage late game. Like genuinely, this is his tier. I would rather have a Cthulhu than Kumbha. Yeah, his kit's just so tired. He's just so tired. You can't play him. True, if you build full damage Kumbha, probably better than full tank Kumbha. I'm not here to lie. That's a fact. Full damage Kumbha better than full tank Kumbha. I haven't played a Kuzenbo game. I assume he's somewhere in B tier, maybe C tier, maybe A tier, depending on how good his laning phase is. You're really not playing him to peel. You're mostly just playing him to dive. Thorns got nerfed, so he's not going to use Thorns as well. He does still use it well. I'm not saying don't build it. He still does use Thorns well. It's just not as good. His 3 is 1 are also still sick abilities. His ult is pretty sick for damage. It's not great setup. If you can get ahead, Kuzenbo is very hard to deal with, but he has got a couple terrible matchups. He plays really bad into Sobek. He's not great into Sylvanas. Terra's pretty good into him. Like he's just got some laning phases that he's not good with. Okay, this is also another one that I have not played, but I can take a guess on. I think Mulan is still going to be in a good spot. You play her for her just how much damage she does and how much setup she does, not for her like tankiness. She basically plays as like a jungler. I've always been big on Mulan, and I know a lot of people don't like her, but I think Mulan is still in a decent spot. Her setup is really free. Her base damage is super strong. The one thing is she's not super safe. But if you're getting ahead on Mulan, she just stomps. Actually, no, I'm changing it. We're going to throw her in B because she's more like Herc Guan area. She's not up here. I think people are kind of a little harsh on her right now. I think she's fine, but she's definitely not great. She's like the same reason you play Herc. You just want to win the laning phase. And you build her kind of like Achilles. You want to just kill someone. Genetic starts where you TP and buy full poots at level 3.
Gimme that.
That man is insane. And she's super fun. She's super fun to play. And but her late game is very bad. She's got one of the worst late games in SMITE. I think Nike's pretty meh. Probably B tier. Oh, build Sentinels on Mulan. She doesn't use Animosity or Compassion very well. I think Nike's pretty average. You basically just play her like a solo laner. Nike's okay. She does good lane clear. She has decent setup. She's hard to go on. Her damage is good. Is Compassion ever worth? See, I think Compassion's strong. The problem is you're throwing away your early game tankiness for this Compassion late game. If you know the game's going to go late game, I think Compassion's good. If you're not sure, you might have to just settle and go for the Sentinels. So yeah, I think Nike's pretty mediocre. Same thing with Odin. Exactly what I just said with Nike. He just doesn't. He plays like a soul laner who's going to be a little bit behind. The thing is he's got a little bit better CC. He's got like that stun. If you play him into healers, he can at least stop healing. Is that a PK chair? It's Wraith's chair. I'm living with Wraith right now, and I stole his chair. That's actually a good call, Richie. His attack speed buff on his 3 makes him an objective destroyer. He's like a Fafnir level, a Amma level destroyer because of how much attack speed he gives to his teammates. Osiris, it's a little troll, but I think Osiris is actually not bad. He's basically just an animosity. You basically just build him with animosity. You build T1 benevolence, T1 boots, 3 health pots, and a multi-pot, and then you just run it down. You just wait till level 17 and just frag level 17. Same thing as kind of Bellona, except Bellona just fights better against ADCs. We'll say S tier for Sobek. He's one of the tankiest gods you can get. He lanes well. Usually most of his healing is in combat healing. He's hardly ever looking to just go heal off a camp or something like that. So he's super strong. His pluck is still one of the best engage abilities in the game. And then his ult just makes you so you're hard to go on and it burns a lot of time. Same thing about last year Sobek. Nothing has changed for Sobek. You just build Sentinels on him. Sun Wukong. I haven't played with Sun Wukong. I really don't have like any idea. I haven't played him in so long, so I'm just gonna throw him in D tier. Sylvanas. I just think Sylvanas is in a good spot right now. I think he's a lot better this year than he was last year. He uses the protection build very well. So you just go Sentinel's Embrace into a Sov, into a Lotus Crown, Heartward, Mantle, and you just become this super uber tank that you give to your teammates. Exactly, Athena. You just make your team tanky with you. No, stop. Mannequin Sylvanas is only to win level like 1 to 4. And then you just start losing the game.
Gimme that.
It's like a worse war flag. I'd rather see a Sylvanas war flag than a Sylvanas mannequin. If you want to just have fun, Sylvanas mannequin is actually really fun to play, but it's not actually viable. It's like when Hunter's blessing Sylvanas to the thing. Terra. I think Terra's strong right now. Her laning phase is really good. She kind of has the same problem Ares does, where she wants to hit level 3. Her 1-2 is pretty weak. Yeah, she just wants to play for level 3. I think she is one of the gods that would use Compassion very, very well. Compassion is 15% mitigation on your mage that you're sitting by, and then that 15% goes to you as magical damage. And then her ult gives her 5% tankiness. So she's only taking 10%. I said that wrong. Her teammate's taking 20% less damage. She's taking 5% of the 15% of her teammate, and it's a heal. So I think Terra with Compassion is one of the few ones that she would use it really well, because her ult is 5% mitigation and Compassion is 15%. So you're giving 20% to your tank, or to your backliner. Bellona, not a support. Xing, I've never been big on Xing Chen. Throw him in B tier. He's probably not B tier. I think Xing Chen is not very good. I'm throwing him in B tier. His kit is just so easy to read. It's kind of like his kit's overall better than Kumba's, but it's the same problem Kumba has. His entire kit, you know what he's gonna do. If Xing's walking at you, he's gonna either 2 you, or he's gonna ult you, or he's gonna stand there and do literally nothing. He doesn't do too much. Xing has some big SPL games. I mean, so is Kuzenbo, and I'm still throwing Kuzenbo in B tier. He's safe. He's hard to go on, yes, but I don't feel like he does enough to be relevant. You put Terra above Xing? Yeah. I think Terra's a lot better than Xing is. Yemoja. I really hate talking about Yemoja, but Yemoja's S tier. She's the best support in the game. Ymir, also S tier. The walls are even better. Like, I feel like I've been talking about Ymir for now 6 months. He does a ton of damage. He lanes well. If you hit your 2, you kill anyone. I've said that for years. Though Ymir's wall is one of the best non-ultimate abilities in the game. So this is my tier list. These are the 6 best gods in my opinion for ranked, and these are the next best. I love Ymir. Oh yeah, assassins. I'm not gonna do any mages because I don't think Baron's good. Fenrir. I think Fenrir is one of the best supports right now. Why do you hate flag so much? You just fall behind. You're losing out on gold. Fenrir just absolutely dominates laning phases. His base damage is super high. He's got good CC. He can pick anyone. If you don't go beads against Fenrir, you're always at a risk of dying. He doesn't use animosity great. Fenrir's S. Yeah, Fenrir's insane. Who's the other one? Naja. I think Naja's a little bit weaker now.
Give me that.
She does a little bit more damage, but she's not as tanky. Or he's not as tanky, but he does do a little bit more damage. His 3 not critting, but doing more base damage is good. But his 2 not healing off max health makes him worse. So he's weird. A little bit, I don't know. I'm going to say he's A tier right now. Maybe he's a little bit lower in B tier, but I don't know for sure. And then Serket. I still think Serket's really good. I think Serket's A tier. I'm really liking the Talarius Sov Wingblade build on her. And then you just go like Mantle Pridwin, and you just feel unkillable. And you just do so much damage also. Tell them not to go Fen unless you're confident. You know how I've seen thrown by PBM wannabes? I mean, that's any god. Like, if you're not confident with Horus, don't play Horus. Just play God you're confident with. That's like the most important thing overall.